when we talked about preparing for this kickoff, we talked about what are some of your tips,
Mm-hmm.
and we wrote them down, and I thought we could share some of them with the group. How important is it to engage your leaders?
It's key. I mean, obviously, if it's just the enablement team or your sales operations or your marketing team driving sales, driving your kickoff, then you're not getting the momentum and the visibility that you need in order to be really getting that energy across, right? So if you get your CRO, even your CEO, or like a couple of GVPs or EVPs of sales, right? We have a bunch of verticals to record a video, maybe talk a little bit about the team, right? We'll go in there later, and have them explain why they're so amped up about this year's kickoff. That helps, right? Because you got to lead by example, and Jim is leading by example for sure.
Absolutely. So Jim, I remember this is him in Utah, right?
Mm-hmm.
Park City.
Yeah.
And
Beautiful backdrop,
but he's pretty casual, right?
Yeah.
So he's leading by example, showing his team that, hey, look at me, I'm recording a video on the weekend, I'm being casual, I'm in my space. And he welcomed everybody, and he welcomed everyone and invited everyone to challenge everyone to record their win stories.
Yeah.
Right? It's a great best practice.
Yeah, if you don't, I mean, with anything in enablement, if you as a leader, whether you're a first line manager, second line manager, or even a CRO, right? If you don't set the example, it's really hard for the troops to buy into it, right? So, and that, by the way, is also a tip as for enablement leaders, right? Like, make sure that you call your leaders out. Like make sure that like if they don't do their first call certifications or the product certifications, or if they're not in the app commenting on and reviewing your team's work, then
hold them accountable.
Hold them accountable a little bit. Yeah, it's a team sport, right? And they're part of the team.
There is a correlation between completion and then attainment, and whether your leaders and managers are leading by example.
Yep.
And
absolutely.
So this is a great tip. Engage your leaders, get executive sponsorship, get them to share their views, share their goals, share their perspective on the theme, and invite their teams to collaborate.
Yeah.
So I love it. Let me pause before we move on to the next tip. Questions? We'll keep going. I love it. These we got some great tips. We're gonna go to the next one. So bam. All right, have a theme. These are a couple of your themes. Tell me crush it, own it. Why did you pick these themes?
Crush it. Quite frankly, that was the year Yext went IPO, right? And we wanted to go IPO with a bang, right? So we want everybody to, focus on their number and really make sure they crush it. It's we had so much momentum in the market space. We had so much press coming from the IPO. We had a fantastic. I mean, we still have a fantastic product lineup. We went on a hiring spree. We got all this. We had all these great new executives coming in: Jim Steele, Dave Rudnitsky, Steve Goldberg, David Lehman. Like, wow, I can go on and on, right? So
amazing.
There's nothing really standing in anybody's way.
Uda-san in Japan.
Yeah, Uda-san in Japan. Like, and that, and also that was the first year where we sort of evolved our sales kickoff from let's have a 7-hour product presentation. That was pre Jake, basically.
Pre Jake and team.
To like, let's get a motivational speaker in. Let's do an amazing event. Let's build some culture. Let's do some deal wins. Let's do a little bit more celebration, right? And so I wanted really to get the energy up, and we did that with Crush It. Own It can evolve there is as you work for any growing company, you're gonna expand your ecosystem, right, a little bit, right? And you want to make sure that you as an individual contributor continue to own your destiny, own your number, focus on what you need to do.
Own your pipeline, own your territory, own your accounts,
own your
deals, own your own enablement.
Yeah, own the industry that you work in, right?
Yeah.
Like be a little bit curious about we're in the marketing space basically, right? So do a little bit of research on paid, earned, owned media. What does really make a CMO tick, right? Think outside the box. Really take ownership of your own destiny, right? right? Yeah, that was really the point we're trying to get across.
And what do you think these themes did to build culture and to unify the experience for everyone?
Well, you can rally around the team, right? So you can have great fun with a team at a kickoff. So you can do a gift that relates to the team. You can get a speaker that relates to the team. You can sort of have everybody thinking about own it. What does own it mean for you? And then weave it into everybody's presentations. You can weave it into the deal win videos.
Right.
I also, like these were great hits. I also messed it up once. I came up, like
not at Yext, previously.
Not at Yext, no,
at
not
another
at Yext.
company.
Yeah, I haven't messed it up at Yext yet, but I came up with the most boring SCO team of all time, I think, which was
that?
Quality and consistency. it's just like I don't know how I came up with it.
Quality and consistency.
It was bad. So,
but it's okay, right? You recognize it and you make that mistake once.
Yeah, never again.
I think the other thing I noticed about these themes at Yext was when I would see the themes emerge during the course of the year in emails and communications from managers, from leaders, from Jim. So you kept the theme going through the year.
Yeah, part of the own it was also like, hey man, let's own it. Go on, like don't complain too much about stuff. Go own it.
No victim.
The last little bit, and I want to give a plug to. We have an amazing marketing team at Yext as well, and they always do a great job with the graphics, right, and the videos, and so. The fun thing about Own It was during the Olympic Games, and so I left the torch, and they really weaved that in. And we also had a couple of employees who were actually in theater there, and we had them FaceTime in, for example, like, so hey, how is it? Tell me a little bit about the medal race, and so if you have any big sporting events or anything else like current events that you can weave into your SCO. Do it because it's so much fun.
Right.
Like we went we gave an update on the medal count, and I always faked
so great.
I said Holland won another 10 gold medals, which wasn't true, but like we had some fun with that. Yeah.
Yes. Go Holland.
Yeah.
Go Orange.
Yes.
All right. So that's tip number 2. All about have a fun motivational theme that you can use to rally. I love it, and align the teams and keep it going.
Don't use quality and consistency.
Oh my God, that's we could do a whole webinar just on that. The lessons learned from that.
Yes.
I'm gonna not go. I'm not gonna make you.
We could do a couple of days on that, but if you fail fast.
There you go. Yeah. I love it. The modern way of enabling our team. So let's go to tip number 3. Crowdsource win stories. So what's going on here? What did you do for win stories?
So we thought at our first go, hey, we just got SalesHood in, right? So we had the platform in, and we want to make sure that people started engaging with the platform. And what better way to talk about your deal win, your biggest win, right? So we asked everybody in the sales organization to record their biggest deal win. We gave them some tips and tricks on how to do it, and everybody participated in it, and you get a couple of things, right? You get
what did I say here in the book? Hundreds of deal wins were recorded, thousands of peer comments, and virtual high fives were shared.
Yeah,
right. The data was pretty amazing.
You say that beautifully.
Oh, thank you. It's written well.
Yeah. So the big. Besides it being a ton of fun, and hopefully we can go on the platform and see some examples. But
let's do it.
Like people were very creative. People had a lot of fun with it. But with the transcribe function, what are the key? What got the deal over the line? What were the key themes that you hit on in order to win? If you become a new employee, right? I mean, guess how cool it is if you can go on a platform and look at here are 50 people, and they all share their wins, right?
Yeah.
That's very motivating.
So let's just take a moment. I think it's interesting. Let me just keep us back here. So I want to just go there. So Yext deal wins. Here's your library of deal wins.
Mm-hmm.
I think sorry about the car alarm, folks. And so this is pretty great. I'm gonna quickly go from here so we don't show too many logos and crush it, right? So check this out. This is let's move this out of the way, the Q&A. So here's so what you did here is crush it, top win stories.
Yeah.
Right. So you got a montage, and then you've got Steven and Alexa. And so what's Steven doing here? Steven
did.
Just having a little bit of fun. Hey, so, you know,
His three-piece wool sweater. He's such a hipster, but yeah, fantastic. That was he was having fun with it, but you know, like he weaved in a lot of really cool.
yeah,
Yeah, like we don't need to go because some of it's just proprietary, but
right,
you
I'll
know,
stop
like
there.
who was he competing with? Like how did we beat the competition? What was the compelling event? How did he establish the value in a really fun, creative way, right? Like we had other people, you know, recording their videos, for example, from the customer locations, right? I mean,
Right.
how cool is that? Yeah.
Yeah. I'll just, you know, I'll just choose, you know, what, let's just kind of look at this for a second. And so, whoops, sorry. Yeah, always know where you're clicking. You know, let me make sure that I'm clicking in the right one. So I'm just going to look at that for a second.
That one was another funny one, but you know, it goes through culture, right? But
totally. And so
this one is fun to watch.
this is another fun one, right?
I really liked it.
So I'm gonna, you know, that's kind of, you know,
Blair Witch.
Blair Witch, right?
Yeah.
So I think what you're showing us is people are, folks are having fun. Now, when you talk about the speech to text, what's happening is the videos are being transcribed.
Yeah.
And so folks can search for them, which is spectacular. And then these videos are being used in onboarding.
Yeah.
And they're available for future consumption as well. I'm going to go back to the deck if that's okay, and go ahead.
Yeah, the last thing I was like, think about all the institutional knowledge that you just document versus it's just going away, right? Like 15 or 20 years ago, right? You weren't capturing this. Right now, you can always look at the video for the next 5-6 years. Like you understand how a deal was won. It's fantastic.
No, it's great. And so you did it in
So
the first
basic,
year,
too,
and
yeah.
you did it in the second year, and
We should do it every year.
and let's pause for a second. What impact to the business do you think the win stories and pre-work and all this great energy around kickoffs has had? What impact that you can share? Because I know you're a public company.
Right. So yeah, you can look at the numbers, right? But first and foremost, right, it's about the people, right? Like, so I'm trying to enable salespeople, right? And it is tough when you go to a new company, right? Like, you do some research on the market. Can I actually sell this product, right? Like, can I make a living to provide for my family, right? And these are all things that you probably think about. And then you make a choice, right? And you go through your onboarding. And just as I talk about building culture during a sales kickoff event, you know, onboarding is very much, and people kind of lose focus of that too sometimes, I think. It's very about making sure that people feel really good about the choice they made, right? People left another career, a job, right? They put their financial future, their family's financial future potentially a little bit, or your own, right, on the line by going somewhere new, right? You better make sure that those people come out of that onboarding going like, this is the best choice I ever made versus, oh shit, what have I done?
Oh,
right?
beep. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if you and yeah, beep, sorry. Yeah.
It's okay.
We knew this was gonna happen.
Yes, we had to kind of
but you know, like
meditate on that.
I'm sort of a direct guy, right? So make sure that happens. And what better way is it? Like, you don't want Jake or whoever it is to sort of, you want to hear from an actual person in your shoes.
Top performers, their win stories, their wins, how they were able to win, you know, with the specific Yext questions. It's great.
Makes you feel pretty good about joining your companies, right?
So if you haven't integrated win stories and crowdsourcing win stories from your teams, whether it's sales, and by the way, you did this with customer success, and you did this with the partner organization and with your salespeople. So you did the entire revenue organization.
The entire revenue organization.
And hundreds of stories that's now part of your library, searchable. It's great. Kudos.
I look at them every night.
I know you do, man. I know you do. All right. So, but you did more. You did more than just get Jim to record a video, have a theme, do win stories. You also had people get certified on the corporate pitch, whether it's the X5 elevator pitch or whether it's the first call. Tell me about this.
Yeah, I mean, remember I was sort of talking about the CFO and like how happy I am that they fund this beautiful sales kickoff that we do every year. So there has to be a little bit of learning, right? And so chances are that your messaging changes annually, right? And as a rep or as a BDR, as any revenue employee, I'd say, like any employee of the company, period, you kind of have to be able to, give an elevator pitch, right? You gotta be on message. It's key, right? And you also don't want to fumble, make this like, hey, everybody, let's get on message at kickoff. It's like you earn the right to go to kickoff if you record your first callback, right? So one of the things I did is like, if you don't have it recorded to completion, we can do it here together live on stage with me.
I love it. How many people did that?
Zero did it. Zero did it.
I can imagine that.
And so that helped, potentially. I guess it tells you a little bit about my personality at work. But
well, you're an operational leader who believes in data and believes in accountability.
Yeah.
And so you're bringing that same rigor to the enablement profession.
Yes, of course.
Which is great.
Yeah.
And so what's cool here is, because it's true that your teams, they do want to learn from the best.
Mm-hmm.
And so, we looked at the data in your system, and it turns out that for every video that was uploaded, they were reviewed, about 8 to 10 times, and then they were peer reviewed. They were watched about 20.
Mm-hmm.
And did you record your pitch?
I sure did. Yeah, because you got to set example. You
got to lead by example. And so let's just take a quick peek. So we're in SalesHood.
Yeah.
This is Jake, Senior Vice President, 122 views, 10 reviews received. Your manager reviewed it.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is you standing up, leading by example. There's Jim Steele giving you feedback.
Yeah.
So you did this. Tell us about this experience.
This was, I did a lot of homework on it because if I can't do this pitch, then I'm going to have a really hard time asking everybody else to record it, right?
Yeah.
It's also like you're being a hypocrite if you do that. And I don't want to be known like that. So I would want to make sure that I did it well. So Mason Bradbury, who works in the enablement organization, fantastic guy, by the way.
Hey, Mason.
We did it, maybe he's watching. We did it together. And so he did his and I did mine. And but I did my homework on this. Like I probably spent 3-4 hours standing in front of the mirror, in front of my 6-year-old daughter, whoever it was, like, hey,
giving the pitch.
Yeah.
And then you load them up, and then you rolled out the pitch. You can see here, enterprise, sales, first call, deck, certification,
mm-hmm.
and then all your teams went through it, and they all did it before.
So Dave Rudnitsky did it.
Yeah, and here's Jim Steele. Look, you crushed it. So check out the question from Emmanuel. We're changing all of our product offerings in January and wanted to use the Kickoff as the platform to train and certify our global reps. Are you suggesting not to certify our people during Kickoff?
Yes, but what I'm suggesting is that it's going to be pre-work, Emmanuel. So they have to earn the right to come to Kickoff too, right? You're probably doing an amazing event there. Maybe you have some speakers, maybe there are gifts. Like, make sure that this is part of their pre-work. And while you are at Kickoff, right, and you go over all the success you had, share some videos. Maybe you do a contest of the top 5 videos. Maybe people can have some fun with it. That's what I'm suggesting.
And by the way, Manuel, here's something else a lot of the companies that we work with do. The thing that we want to suggest is if you get people to do it ahead of time, and if you review them, then what you can do is when you get to the keynote, when you get to your kickoff, then you're already way ahead because you know where people are doing well, where people can improve. So you're accelerating and shortening the time to their success. And so imagine, Jake, after watching a bunch of these presentations, getting up on stage and saying, hey, I reviewed a bunch. Here's what I observed. And then you can really accelerate the learning. And then what was the time limit you gave them on the elevator pitch when you did the X5 pitch? 2 minutes?
It depends. Like we had, it was a 30-second elevator pitch. It has to be an elevator pitch, so it can't be a 2-minute thing. Right?
People actually got in the elevator and did it.
People I remember doing it at the NetSuite once. And
we did it there too, yeah.
And in the elevator, like it was literally an elevator ride, and that was fantastic. So people were actually recording themselves in an elevator, just talking to people pitching. Yeah.
And so first call pitches range. I think it depends how organized, but I believe when you did them, it was about 6 to 8 slides, maybe 10 slides, so sub 8 minutes.
I mean, this deck took me this presentation took me about 5 to 6 minutes. Right. I think. Yeah.
And you're front ending a discovery conversation with a pitch to set the tone, set the context, and we can go deeper on that. I'm going to kind of pull us back.
Mm-hmm.
Cool?
Yeah.
This is great. I appreciate you letting us see your app and see how you use it. And thanks for doing your pitch. You look fabulous. I like the V-neck crew. Good job. I'm gonna move us into beyond training and certifications. Okay. So sir, anything else to share on the certification aspect and the pitches?
Good luck rolling that out, Emmanuel. Like I wanna hear how that goes.
Yeah, please, Jake Hofwegen, connect with Jake, connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm sure that we love to hear from you. If a small little plug, if anybody on here does want to get access to the community, we've got templates and tools and videos, and more than happy to kind of give you access and let you start experiencing the platform on your own. But I love it. Great work on this, Jake. It's really, world class to you and the team, and Yext is leading the way, and at a good time, right? You went public. You need to continue the momentum. You got to keep people aligned. You're innovating. You're rolling out new products. You're leading the market with AI, and you got to make sure people understand what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You're
it's for us. It's super crucial that everybody is on message, because it's also very much a evangelical. It's hard. I knew it was going to happen kind of sale where you kind of have to educate everybody on.
It really is.
On what we do.
All right, we're going to do one more tip, and then I know we're going to wind down, because I think there's only so many tips people can take in at once. All this genius coming from you.
I'm just getting started.
I know you are. That's why I got it. All right, but you did more than just the executive alignment, the theme, the storytelling, and the messaging and the pitch certifications. Right. You also did a complete rollout of a sales methodology, selling through curiosity, and how did you weave that into the overall experience as well?
We weave Barry in, and
Barry Ryan, he's the founder of Selling Through Curiosity. What you see here on the screen is the library of Selling Through Curiosity. Yext has embraced it as part of how they're go-to-market. We did it at Salesforce as well. A ton of companies do it, but go ahead.
So Barry is a high energy guy, right? So he played a big part in our sales kickoff. Selling to curiosity is really a sales methodology. We also did a lot of work on the sales process, and first and foremost, we did it together with Dave Rudnitsky and
your sales leaders.
Yeah, our sales leaders. So we sort of crowdsourced it with our sales leaders, and we sort of I was just basically a conduit to bring it to life in our CRM, but it was all based on their knowledge.
You used the kickoff to basically crowdsource the playbook from the top leaders and the top performers, integrate it with the Selling Through Curiosity framework, then customize, update Salesforce, and then have it be executed through workshops, and then manager huddles afterwards, and it's also part of your onboarding. Last comment. What's the final tip you'd leave someone around? I know you've given us a ton. How to make their kickoffs the most engaging ever. What's your final word? And then we're going to wind down.
I mean, energy. I keep on going back to that. Bring the energy, build the culture, be very respectful of the fact that people, invest in it, right? There's a lot of money that's going to come your way. Like, this is your one chance probably in the entire year where everybody is in a single space, single room, right? Be very respectful of that, and make sure that you don't bore people to death. Keep the energy high.
Energy high, don't bore people to death. Leverage time before, leverage time after, and build culture. Everyone, fabulous, Jake. That was great.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a lot of fun.
Bye, everyone. Thank you so much. We'll see you in the next one.
Take care. Bye.